still good. But okay, I'm done talking because Kira's being spicy.
Yeah, Kira's just going for this as he spawns in the top left-hand side. Our blue Terran player, he is Kira.
In the bottom right, as the red Zerg, he is RagnaroK.
Yeah, look at Kira starting off with some proxy racks here. So change it up from, I like it, right? You change it at the very start of the series. You know what he's doing though? He's building them like right dead center on the overload path, hoping that RagnaroK spots for proxy racks. And that's obviously not so hot. Because this is going to be seen really, really quickly.
Yeah, he's like kind of going to the right a little bit, but still definitely in the trajectory.
Unless he takes like a hard turn to the right around about now, which makes no sense because there's nothing like hard right. There's just like dead airspace. So he's going to see this right now and immediately can set up against this. Hides the overload. Secure doesn't know that this has been seen. I mean, not really much difference as you're going to pull the 4 drones, and he's just going to try and stop these racks from getting up. Should generally here you stop one of the racks getting up. I mean, it's just that early of a scout that you can pull the drones, and yeah, this first SCV already taking some shots. Doesn't really micro its way around to the best position. Takes a lot of shots before it goes around the other side. And you will see this first barracks will be delayed. I like this, just leaving one drone on the other side exactly for this scenario. But it is just one rack, and it is so slowed down here. You wonder if maybe even as Q, you just sort of cancel the second rack, start to expand, maybe build a Reaper. It's not ideal. But then what else are you going to do? Are you really going to try and continue through with the 2 racks? Well, he wants to. Bringing that SCV back. It's so delayed, though.
I do think you just can't. Well, now you have to cancel the second barracks. Cancel second barracks. Get most you can denied mining. So the 4 drones obviously still out here are not mining. Get 1 drone and then go into a Reaper, which is exactly what he does. Every Terran has a failsafe when it comes to the 2 racks, especially if it's a 3 or 4 racks. Then it's definitely more painful to be caught like that. But for this, I would say that it even goes into a macro game. Like, I'm going to throw a random number out here, but it's a gut feeling. I want to say like 80% of games go into a very even macro game beyond this. So we'll see. I mean, it does change up depending on how the Zerg wants to take care of things. Either they're like, great, now I can macro, or they're like, great, now I can all in you. And well, RagnaroK's not going for the latter option, so.
Yeah, as RagnaroK pops out Queen, this Reaper from Q will get turned away, and Zerglin speed on the way up from RagnaroK as well. I'm just waiting for that third hatch to be established as well. He's got a drone over there hidden away as well, so the Reaper can't be like, are you over here? No, you're not, and then kind of move away. So for, as far as RagnaroK's as far as Q is concerned, RagnaroK's not really looking to take a third base just yet. And again, he just checks if it's there already. RagnaroK will get that down around about now, and the Reaper again will not be there to block it.
Too bad, so sad.
Yeah.
Also, by not getting that second barracks, just a small but important note, the Reaper is the only thing that is scouting right now, because the other thing that can happen is that 2 racks fails, but then you have 1 racks just like literally scouting everything, which is, scouting is very important in StarCraft. But that doesn't happen, so the Reaper is kind of important. Needs to not just try and deny that third, which it failed at, but also scout that it's happening, scout that it's actually being used, because his Hellions aren't quite out yet either. He does go for a fast. He went for a command center after barracks. He went for a fast 3rd CC. We see it right now. I truly believe this will go into a regular macro game, but that little bit of fear is definitely in Kira's heart right now, as RagnaroK is getting a full scout, no problem.
Yeah, he knows everything that's going on, so absolutely like a zero question here as to what's going on, right? Like, just know exactly what's up. See the 3CC, see Starboard on a tech lab. I mean, that could be a couple things, right? And Q is not going to reveal Cloak at least just yet until this Overload gets pushed back. But when you only get this much scouting off of not even committing into Overload speed, it's also just a really nice little advantage here, as we do see the Marine pushing this off. Maybe the Banshee just a cloakless one just to kind of set up and just sort of see what's going on, as he does drop a tech lab on the racks as well.
That's pretty too... I might be wrong. I'm pretty sure that's fast 2 extra gases. Could we have some fast, like, Spire play, maybe? The layers kind of offset the normal because 2 racks be 2 racks. It does offset things by 40 seconds a minute. I don't know. But maybe not. Maybe it just goes into double upgrades quick.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to see him building something soon. I feel like with the layer this fast, it has to be, like, at least a Bane Nest for Bane speed, right? So if it was going to be double upgrades, what are you then going to do with the layer?
You're right. I was thinking more about the gas, but you're right. The lair doesn't help double upgrades.
Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely one of those scenarios where because it's lair, I think you were kind of spot on with the initial kind of thought process of maybe just going straight towards Mutalisks here.
Yes.
Because I just don't know what else I mean, you would have had a Bane Nest by now, right? I mean, obviously as the gas continues to tick on up and you don't spend it on anything else, it becomes more and more obvious as well. But Bane Nest will drop down. I'd be very surprised if this wasn't a Spire too, though, and there it is in the main.
Nailed it. Yeah, I think it's a good call. The Baneling Nest just makes this like it's the safe option while you have some decent creep spread, especially 6 Banelings, 6 Lings scares away a decent number of early game pushes, but you know, no Banelings, actually you just jump on top of it, obviously. But then you get to the Spire, you put most of your gas and minerals into that, and you can now take even more control over the game. So Kira's thankful that this goes into a macro game. He's like, it doesn't matter that I'm not pressuring you too much because you're also pressuring me. Easy 3 bases. And eventually I will get my time to shine. And basically as he thinks that, as he gets medevacs, that's when the mutas come out. That's when they start taking over the map, controlling it, and it gets a little bit more difficult for him.
He comes straight in after the drone on the 4th base to slow it down a little bit, as we will see. I mean, the advantages there are for Kira, right? The 1-1 is going to be really nice, so yeah, you can get on the map and be aggressive. He has a few Hellions up to try and maybe do something. One of the things for RagnaroK is that creep spread. It's going to be everywhere, and there's just nothing to deny it.
Yeah, that's like, Hellions have not done a good job of that since Wings of Liberty. It's a little bit nicer now because they can't be canceled, but... And then the Banshee, like all it's used for is clearing up creep spread. That's not really a great use of a Banshee either. Yeah. Which it can't even do.
Yeah, it's just like, you know, the creeper's going to be out there, and medevac's about to pop, so maybe you can move forwards now. But obviously there's already going to be mutas on the map, so you have to be very careful with the medevacs to figure out exactly what you want to do here.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure Kira could tell this was a fast muta build. You know, we talked a bit about that 2 days ago, but that was a very like unique opportunity for the Terran to get information. Here, very little information. So he is going to fly in not just 2 mutas that can take on the medevacs, but also a decent number of ground units, and still does not have any missile turrets. Yeah, I'm just gonna lose this. Good try. Okay, trying to take down the gas units is always the best you can do, but yeah, it's gonna be taken down.
Not really too pretty at all, as RagnaroK's going to shut this down. The medevacs drop, the Marines are dead, and well, that's kind of about it for the moment. As you see, the 1-1 combat shields. I mean, this is where you'd maybe want to follow up with something, but with this much creep on the map, you just don't. If you do anything here, you've got to kind of rely on 2-2, I think. Anything else, just again, there's just too much creep right now. Where do you really go? You just lost some Marines and medevacs. Mutas fly in, they don't do a lot. Missile turrets up, Marines are here, so it's pretty good defense on that front. But no mutas lost just yet, and that means that muta count is building up, and as the muta count gets higher, this game gets a lot scarier from Kira's point of view.
Absolutely. And that's going to be more creep spread, bigger armies, more opportunities to be surrounded. And of course, alongside this type of style, you want an insane number of drones. Yeah, past 80 even. With a fast 5th base as well. So just an instant remax, even if you do find 1 or 2 good opportunities to kill the Zerg. So very scary position for Kira, who is probably familiar with the situation. Clearly, mutas have come back in ZVT. We've seen a lot of it in the past 3 days in this tournament, let alone all the other tournaments that happen on a daily basis and all the ladder. So he's been in a uncomfortable situation. And I'm sure he has his own plan on how to combat it. And it's probably what you were talking about, playing to that later game, playing to the 2-2, the maxed out push, and perhaps even super late game, which we saw a decent bit of. And I'm excited to see it.
Yeah. So you have 2-2 upgrades coming in from Kira, setting up at the moment here, and just seen RagnaroK coming up and around the top side. A few of these Marines setting up and dealing a little bit of damage. Mutalisks taking a few shots, but nothing too major. As the tanks from Kira will sit back, and Kira just sits back and plays defense and just waits, and it kind of gives RagnaroK the entire map to work with.
Well, it's going to be a little bit of time before we really get some action. Just, you know, letting you guys know. The muta is unlikely to go over Marines. Does occasionally happen. Laying Baneling unlikely to bust down 3rd base, but could attempt to do so. It's more around the 4th base, and it's more around, I would say, even the Terran finally thinking they can push. That's when the action really starts to escalate. See a lot of run-bys, see a lot of damage from the mutas. And RagnaroK will be totally prepared for that push. Creep spread starting to get really out of control, even pushing 2. That would be 4th base, while guarding the right side one, which is the one Kier's going to take.
Yeah, Kier going to go the real kind of... I mean, you just have to play like super defensive here and take that back base, right? You don't really have control of the game enough to kind of take a forward base like you might usually like to. And yeah, it's unfortunate for Kier. He's kind of like letting this game go on, but what's he going to do in the end? And, you know, you can't really blame him. What is he meant to do right now? There's like got so much control of the game. Dropping around isn't really a guarantee to do much, because obviously then you've got the Mutalisks, which can just kind of come and clean you up, and it's really tough. There's so much Lingbane. Kier's almost just inviting RagnaroK to come and overcommit to a fight to maybe get back into it at least a little bit, because otherwise it's going to be really tough if he's the one that has to move out and onto the creep spread.
Yeah. Oh, it gets so scary when they're still on creep and they're like encroaching on your army. That's... You can't even move forward even a tiny bit. Okay, so you can start doing attacks that, you know, don't seem like they're going to do very much. I don't think this will, although crashes into the right side a little harder than I think Kier wanted, and also crashes into the SCV line. Last minute split does save that. 4th base under attack by so many Banelings and SCVs, enough to kill the planetary. So, okay, the main fight wasn't really the goal there. The SCVs to the left side, the planetary to the right, those were most of the goals. Point I was trying to make is that even if they didn't do very much at all, the Zerg just remaxes anyways. They have a couple of attempts to do that, more than a couple actually, before they have to worry.
RagnaroK just, I mean, this is exactly what you want to do though, right? You have enough money, just throw Banes at the planetary, so why the heck not? Why not keep Kier on 3 bases? And eventually he's just, I mean, if you have to rebuild a planetary every single time that happens, that's kind of expensive in itself, considering your economy. So, yeah, I mean, RagnaroK's just mining the entire map. The creeps all over the place. I mean, who are we kidding if we're trying to say and Kier's got a good chance in this one? It's nigh on impossible, I want to say. Like, I'm a real Terran optimist as well, but like, this is really, really going to be difficult.
I just lean into the late game that I know Kier was at one point very good at. He's had his like really big spikes in certain metas, and I know back when I mentioned it once, Bjorn was doing it. He was doing it too, the whole Raven thing. Not that it exists now, but the point is defensively I think he could do okay. He has tanks, he has Widow Mines, he has a good bio ball. He is not taking too many face checks on the Banelings there, but yeah, I think that might actually be too much.
Yeah, the Banes keep rolling through. He's going to split away. Doesn't lose too many SCVs on the 4th base. They try and repair. The 4th base goes down again. So it's that same idea of RagnaroK can just afford to immediately rebuild. And this time he's going to add Ultras into the army as well. So these attacks are going to get a little bit beefier. And you can see Kier sort of responding to that by building up a couple of Liberators. But again, it's not really going to get much better than what it has been already, right? So got to replace that 4th base. He's going to try and morph into a planetary again. He's trying to build 2 more CCs at once, knowing that, you know, at some stage he's just got to actually get a base up and be able to replace a base right away. Otherwise, this is going to keep on happening. Otherwise, this is just going to be a continued issue. As the mutas come in, Refinery takes some shots. Chitinous Plating coming through, +3 melee, and Carapace, +3 flyer attacks all coming into play. As the entire army of RagnaroK comes out over the right side. Kind of seen this one before as well. He has missed Chitinous Plating for a while, so that's maybe a slight mistake from RagnaroK here. But for the moment, really the only mistake.
Yeah, you almost never get that speed before Chitinous Plating. You shouldn't really ever. Yeah. The next attack will hit with all of the upgrades, it looks like. And Kier is still not maxed out, although the armor supply is even. A couple good Widowmine shots could change things. Oh my god, that was a great one.
Yeah.
Oh lordy.
That's exactly what you're looking for as Kier. I mean, Widowmine to take down like every Baneling there in the front. So that slows this down a little bit, and all of a sudden, maybe there's a little bit more opportunity from Kier. But I mean, what this means is he can take a 4th base, right, and hold it, and he can even now use his extra CCs as a 5th base. So now he's actually going to set up in towards 5 bases, and that's a very different scenario to what we've been seeing. And that's what RagnaroK was so good at denying. He was really good at stopping Kier from getting the economy up to really make this, you know, a very powerful kind of, you know, setup from Kier where you can really make something happen, perhaps.
Baby steps, right? Baby steps.
Yeah.
Liberators,
absolutely.
if there's 4 Liberators, I think you could tackle this with their very minute splash damage, but only 2, not so much. Loses 2, unfortunately, as the mutas become less important. RagnaroK, so we watched, you know, a very long game between Kier and Raynor, right? Where arguably Raynor should have won, but instead let a game go where he just constantly remaxed on layer-based tech, which seemed like a good idea for the first 9-10 attacks. But did not ever really transition and was far too late to transitioning. This time, RagnaroK's going to show us what it looks like when you do have that transition a lot faster. Still not that fast. He's still mostly layer-based, but he does have the options for like Mass Ultra going into Ritter Spire. We'll see what that looks like. It's going to slow him down. There'll be less attacks, and I do think it's an army that Kieran knows could be on the way, but he has to also be careful not to evaluate this incorrectly and start defeating that hive when he still has so many Banelings to take care of. Widowmine's going to try and get some 6 shots just like last time, and there is quite a field of them. Not too bad.
Gets a few of them indeed, but now there's these Ultras, and these Ultras, they need to be dealt with, and a little bit of Bio showing up. The Bio does okay when these Ultras are kind of on their own. But again, you lose a 5th base, and RagnaroK rebuilds again. He kept a lot of the Ultras alive as well, right? Like, he lost 2 maybe? He's just lost a lot of Ling Bane more than anything else. Yeah, the Bane that you mentioned, the Widowmine shots. The Widowmine shots did pretty well. Unfortunately, the one thing that didn't go quite so well is when those Banes got blown up. They were actually getting blown up like on top of other Widowmines. So they kind of like splashed on and took the rest of the Widowmines down with them. So that count's being reduced as well a little bit. But again, Kira just continuing to accept the onslaught of the Zerg and just trying his best to stay alive and eventually, hopefully, at some point, look for a bit more of an opening.
Friendly Fire is a Terran killer, man. This time, building armor will be done, but it's not a planetary. That would have actually helped so much in that last fight. Not any Liberators either. Just like 1 or 2 ended up taking quite a few shots. RagnaroK can't ever see the full like scope of how many Widowmines there are, so if he's conservative, that's probably why. And then he just goes, you know, oh, you know what? I got this. Never mind. I'm fine.
Yeah, gonna push on in here. First couple of ghosts showing up, which really are gonna struggle, I think, to do too much because you just don't get the time to really get like snipes off. There's not enough ghosts to snipe all the snipes you need. Widowmine's nearly blown up all these mutas, mind you, and these last few Ultras are very low HP. But this is an orbital command here now in this 5th base location, so that's going to get picked away without any real consequences. The Corruptors are coming around the top looking for a position of caustic spray the planetary. That's not it. Double missile turret is absolutely not something to commit into. Force the repair and probably just back away. It's kind of going down. The Corruptor count's going down too.
Attention? He's trying to grab an orbital with like 5 mutas, which shouldn't happen either.
Yeah.
I think that was too good of a fight for Q to recover. He's not remaxing fast enough to combat RagnaroK. But that was one of the more convincing, like, fights, quote unquote, like situations, I'll say. Because he does have a lot of bases now that if he could be given a moment or two, he'd try to expand more.
Yeah,
the remax isn't quick enough.
Widowmine's off on just a few Zerglings initially, actually, as Lings and Mutas continue to run on in. And they're just going to go and, well, on their own, not really do too much. Again, there should just be another round of Banelings. I don't know why he's going without Banes. He still has a lot of gas in the bank as well. RagnaroK's last few moments of decisions have been weird. Now he's got actually Broodlords in that top side, which is quite nice, actually, I guess. There's nothing to really deal with Broods here either overall. So Broods could have just also gone for a forward frontal onslaught, but that'll do it as RagnaroK is able to take game number 1 and will take the first game of this grand final.
People think I'm good at multitasking, but the real truth is that I'm just a really fast typer.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. People are like, man, what is really, like, how do you type and talk? I'm like, well, actually, I like stopped talking for like 2 seconds, type, and then like, you know, I talk again.
Yeah. Exactly.
Top left-hand side of Simulacrum, our blue Zerg player. It is RagnaroK.
In the bottom right as the red Terran, he is Cure.
Game 2.
Is the girl ghost the default sound? That's actually a fair question to ask, because I think I've noticed every Terran player using the girl ghost.
I think it just, didn't it bug out once where it used to be like Nova used to spawn as like 1 in every like 100 ghosts, and now Nova just always spawns with certain setups?
Oh, I didn't know about that bug.
I thought that was a thing. Maybe not.
Yeah. Well, there's 2 ghost skins now that are women. Anyways.
Oh,
yeah. Not that I can really explain the difference.
Is the new one woman?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's why, because I use the new skins on GameHot all the time for this tournament.
Oh, there you go.
So yeah, that'll be why.
Yeah, I forgot that GameHart does that.
Yeah.
So
I just been sent. I think the last set of Watcher skins are really nice, so I just set them to that every time, basically.
Oh, the skins are nice enough. I think like if you truly like critique the woman ghost skin, it's actually like one of those hilariously bad like 2-inch waists, but
Yeah.
you know, aside from that, they're fine. It's just I'm totally with people. The ghost sound is already really dramatic, male or female, but the woman ghosts are like they just. I feel like they try to get them to mimic the ghost, the male ghost exactly, and it just sounds just more blood curdling than the guy. So it just comes off very loud.
Yeah, maybe they just I don't know. Maybe they just took it off of all the Terrans in our StarCraft. Tried to reenact what they sound like.
Okay, guys, just read a couple of these salty posts. Tell me what you think they're doing right now. Kind of sounds like they're going. "Ah!" Perfect, nailed it. It's disruptive for sure.
Game is not doing anything too crazy. No fast 3cc, just a second gas. You know, Simulacrum, you know, bio kind of works, mech kind of works. We have seen Cure not really shy away from using. You know, he's definitely played more bio, but mech's not out of his arsenal completely. So has a couple of choices here, as we do have the Reaper just dancing, third hatchery down, and really, I mean, just nothing crazy at all for the first few minutes of this game.
We're gonna start arguing about who is the best APM. Who's the best typing? Guys, I love Type Racer. I'm pretty good, pretty fast. I usually win them.
Yeah. Damn. I always think I'm a fast typer, and then people are like, no, you're not. But then I always win, the Zard game in Reno Party.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never lost. Apart from,
I mean, I always win Tacitus Typing Challenge.
Well, shit.
So.
See, that's why we need like a professional Tacitus Typing Challenge competition.
Yeah, if you want a 1v1, got me, man.
Okay. Getting feisty in here, huh?
Right? I was talking to Crimson and Ozcraft, and he was like, I love Rainer Party. And I was like, yeah, I always win Rainer, or Tacitus Typing Challenge. And he was like, at the exact same time, he said the same thing. And we just kind of like glared at each other. And I was like, no, but really, I do. He's actually like a really funny guy, and he immediately backed down. It's just a funny moment. Just gonna love that game.
Maybe bio from Kira as he starts with the stim pack. Just the Hellion Liberator. We saw a lot of this opening yesterday. It's really like the most kind of vanilla sort of way to set up into bio, right? Just you get a harassing unit in the skies, you get the Hellions on the front. You don't overbuild Hellions or anything. You just go straight to the racks. You don't do anything too extraordinary on the starport either. And you just kind of poke around and see what you can do.
Mm-hmm. Very basic stuff. And RagnaroK not showing us any all-ins quite yet. I think in the best of 7, we're gonna see a Ling Roach Ravager attack. It's guns to happen, but not here, not now. Just feeling confident in the macro game. Certainly took that last one very convincingly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what I really love about this Hellion Liberator style though is that you can really see kind of like, for example, like Clem yesterday, right? And we saw it in the first 2 games yesterday. Like, Uthermal used it against RagnaroK, and it did nothing. He got shut down right away. And then Clem used it against Soul, and the Liberator got like 8 kills over 10 minutes or something. It was just like the ability to kind of keep repositioning and keep resetting. Right now, Q's doing a good job of just poking in with the Hellions, gets a creep teamer or 2, and he keeps that Liberator in just a slightly annoying spot as well. Just can't quite be reached by the Spore, but it's not really, it's not doing anything. It's just sat there waiting to relocate again. But it's still around. Oh, a couple of Queens get in. Simulacrum's a bit of a tough map to keep it alive on, I guess. There's not a lot of dead air space.
Yeah, I feel like, it did, just by living longer, it did mess up RagnaroK a little bit. He ended up getting supply blocked, and now he's super supply blocked. 5 Overlord's still not on, and still not done. I think his evolution chambers were supposed to be faster for the timing of his lair as well. Like, could be wrong about that, because his gas actually is timing out pretty well. But, yeah, it still certainly messed up his supply block.
Yeah, it definitely has. You see 1-1 melee upgrades coming through here on the Evo chambers, so no surprises on that one. It was the lair into double Evo. He's actually, again, the lair's going to be done a bit before Bane Nest, so he won't get Bane speed right away. We'll see what he does do. He goes up to, 6 gas is really fast, right? So he feels as though he's looking for some kind of tech. This is not just going to be your traditional, like, oh yeah, just spam a bunch of Ling Bane and, have some fun. This is going to be a tech structure like a Hydroden or, a Spire, one or the other, I would imagine.
I think Aspire. Yeah. I've actually forgotten, what timing and how many gases, but, all 6 this fast seems... And it seems that Spire is also just the flavor of the month, 3 months, what have you, and there it is.
Yeah, it really has been, hasn't it? Like, people keep talking about, like, I feel like a month or two ago, people saw mutas and see TvZ when it was bio, and they were like, oh my god, mutas, yeah, I miss Lingbane muta, and now it's like every single TvZ bio game is like Lingbane muta. So, it's definitely something else that's just changing in this ever-evolving meta game of Zerg and Terran fighting each other. There's a few Marines stim in and just going to go after a couple of lings and creep spread again. The more you slow this creep spread down, the more of that, the better time you have later on in the game, basically, is Widowmines unfortunately showing up, and they weren't really meant to be there. I mean, if they were, then you probably shouldn't have attacked enough of the Marines at that time.
A little aggressive if you plan on getting those Widowmines forward. Yeah. Not too great. But still catching creep tumors. Actually a big catch on the left side. He is going up to 2-2-1. All of his gas is being taken. You will see more, again, another macro game. But even just having these medevac drops on instant cleaned up is a big difference from last game. And Cure now has like an upgrade lead and should continue being able to apply pressure even as mutas pop out.
The Marines lifting straight back up. This time a couple of Widowmines are here. You don't actually... and Burrows to try and pick up, and he's like, wait, I saved so many Marines. I can't. And I guess maybe seeing the few extra Marines unloading back onto the dead base.
Choosing mutas over the upgrades for now, but does plan on getting a +2 carapace. 10 mutas immediately is a pretty good number to pop out ASAP. It will help defensively against these like very small pushes. This will actually, I think, push Cure to just go into, just focus on the 2-2. Push later on. Ooh, good shot with that one of mine. Mutas are now on the tail. A scan revealed that, so he boosts out of there. And he's very close to home, so he's safe.
Yeah, just pulling these medevacs back around the bottom. More Marines up the right side. And just going to push the Mutalisks away out into the center a little bit further. As we just have Mutas coming back around the bottom. Trying to see what they get up to.
Okay, they got something. But basically nothing. Good defense. Missile turrets coming down. Thor's already on the production tab. And fourth base also already done, so probably looking towards that. I mean, he built it in a way that looks like he's going to take the north, but a lot of them have been taking the south base. So we'll just wait on that in a second. Oh, bother.
I hate this. It's like, your CC so nearly finished, the meters like get it. It's like, really, man? You're going to just let me have this? Just one time.
Yeah, exactly.
Please.
Oh, RagnaroK's creep spread is once again getting out of control. So Cure's push gonna have to clean up 1 or 2 scans worth of creep tumors. I think he really does want to push. This would be with 2-2. This would be with a fairly safe setup. Your production's kind of finalizing. You got some Thors. It is gonna be, I guess, right now just a creep tumor cleanup. As his fourth gets taken, it's gonna be harassed, but he should be plenty of time to save it.
So you see taking some damage, but yeah, not really going to go down anything. It's just a slow down as Cure will eventually get to the 4 bases here quite comfortably. Infestation Pit from RagnaroK in the back of the main base mineral line, and a bit more of this Lingbane setting around to kind of see where I can go. Widowmines actually zoning out a lot over there, as a drop in the back of the third will actually get a few drones. Just kind of finding its way in there. I mean, shot down the medevac already, so this is kind of forfeit, but does okay for what it was.
Yeah, it lasted a long time. Pulled the army entirely back as RagnaroK didn't. He did send some lings, but also to let his army hotkeyed probably. He is looking to be very aggressive. Widowmines are on cooldown. They're actually about to be off cooldown though, but Kieran not paying attention. There he goes. Burrows the other Widowmines. Oh, from behind. There you go.
Yeah.
Grabs a couple, but good lord. That is so many banelings.
Yeah. So many banelings, and these SCVs are in trouble as the army gets cleaned out. So Marines now showing up, but all those Banes are being chased. They're trying to, all those SCVs are being chased. They're trying to run back to Widowmines to help them cover. And we do just see the Overseer getting picked off, as we do see also RagnaroK resetting with the rest of the army just getting ready to go for this once again.
It's a good thing Kira was defensive. I think maybe seeing that the muta count really wasn't added onto might give Terrans a bit of a hint to the mass Baneling attack about to hit, which is exactly what happened. And if Kira just had all of his army in position, then I think it would have been a little bit cleaner. As it is, yeah, a lot went down. He's a little late to concaving. His SCVs went down. And his Widowmine production, I don't know if it's going to be good enough for this immediate follow-up.
Yeah, we're just going to be seeing a Thor trying to get in there, but the meters are pretty well split as well. So Motorbine's starting to connect, but it's again all this economy in the third base that's going to get completely shut down here. Marines and a Thor coming in from the top side. As we're going to be seeing the Banes and the Lings still coming up, and just going to see the Thor kind of getting surrounded here. Marines trying to fight, and then the Bane's going to knock down a supply depot or two as well, and Cure just does not have the numbers to hold on.
GG.
GG. Yeah, indeed.
That was an okay game. That was a perfectly fine game. You even got some mid-game, potential, and still gets super overwhelmed. Take advantage of that. Like, I think you got to do something different because the macro game's really not working, even on like a pretty even level. So like BCs, because even if they're scouted, they're still okay, or a Hellbat thing. Something different.
Well, let's see what you do, because you've got to change something up. You really, really do. You're not wrong. In the top left-hand side, our Blue Terran down 0-2 in this best-of-7 grand final. It is Cure.
In the bottom right, as the red Zerg, he is Chivos, RagnaroK.
We get into game 3.
Okay. Yeah, RagnaroK could also just continue with his momentum and do an all-in. We did see that from his previous series. Would it be on Nightshade? I don't know about that. This is actually the map where you've seen a couple of the Terran all-ins. Marauder Hellbat. And one just Hellbat Marine, I think.
Yeah, it was the one where Ethan went on this one against Scarlet pretty quickly, right? Just pushed across the map and was like, just bopped her. So it's definitely one of those runs where you can hit kind of quick with like Hellbat attacks and so on.
Yeah, I guess this was the one where I think Scarlet in return also did an all-in on this. Just trying to remember what naturals look like after casting, and it's difficult. But I just know RagnaroK is totally he's not just capable of it. I think it is in his game plan of a best of series to throw in that Roach Ravager Ling attack. He, I think, also tried doing one Roach attack. That actually was the game that he lost, I want to say. Maybe literally against Cure. Yeah, I'm not sure, but he did the Roaches, and then he was like, oh, it's not gonna work, so he pulled back. Because Cure also has not shown a Banshee build yet. Granted, that first game is not a great indicator of what you really want to do, because 2-Rex fail, 2-Rex fail, not be good. But yeah, no Banshees, maybe that's why you also throw it in there. I really want to see something different. Because, I guess maybe you could say that Cure is thinking, well, maybe this map's going to be better this time. But would it? Would it really? I don't think so.
No, I don't really think so either. I think you have our Reaper. You can have a couple of Lings. I'm just going to be seeing the, just the set up the third hatchery. Third CC yet to build, of course. It is double gas, so we will see starport early. And Ling speed just coming up here as the Queen from RagnaroK comes over to the side, going to pick away at the Reaper.
Starting to see things shape up. On RagnaroK's side, it is all safe. He even takes the guys out of gas, so not going to be the map for the attack. On Cure's side, we are eagerly waiting to see what he does with his starport. It's going to be swapped over. Going to be Banshee.
Yeah, he's gonna. It looks like Banshee, right? You've got that tech lab set up already. Starport's ready to swap.
Yeah.
So it definitely looks like going in towards the Clog and towards the Banshees here early. This Rex just moves off to the side, and the first Marine will start up already. And getting a couple of Hellions on the way out of the factories. There's the Clog. There's our Banshee.
I thought you stayed in gas sooner for this, but I don't particularly do this build. But as a Roach Warren, the second gas on the way.
Yeah.
All right.
It's interesting because usually you go 3 gases with this, right, as well. So it's almost like a... I feel like RagnaroK did this the other day as well when he only did the 2 gas variation, but it does mean you're kind of more likely to just kind of drone up faster. Because with 2 gases, you just can't afford really any Ravagers. Usually you get 8, 9 Roaches, and then you can get 3 Ravagers as well. But with 2 gases, you really can't quite afford that. So...
Yeah. You gotta build more overlords. It's gonna be supply block soon. There we go. You can just try and ling swell.
Yeah.
As well, which is often the deadliest thing about it. But you do want a certain number of Ravagers just to make sure that you can bust down the front. But Kira is going for a Banshee and is not being timid with his Hellions either. So if RagnaroK is going to build... Oh, he's not going to do it. He's not doing it. If he were to go across the map, I don't think it would go very well. But no, a lair starts. These roaches are defensive. Perhaps wondering about either scaring Cure, being like, aha, I'm going to roach attack you and actually not. Or wondering about a potential mech game. But... either or, it's not really going to be amounting to much, and I think he's gonna separate away from roaches as the game goes on.
Yeah, we see a lot of people. I mean, it's actually more common recently to actually open roaches against bio as well, because I think with the creep change, a lot of people kind of relied on roaches a bit more to protect the creep tumors. They can't be cancelled now, but we really saw that kind of fade away with this kind of resurgence of bio, and people just saying, oh yeah, I will just play a Ling Bane early and kind of go from there. But yeah, maybe there's just kind of a bit of a throwback into like Roach, into kind of, Roach Ling Bane, something along those kind of lines for RagnaroK. As we have a couple Banshees from Kyo coming down the right side, going to move it in towards the natural. Just going to try and pick off a couple of these drones.
As we get into the mid game, Banshee's not doing too much. We'll point out that an attack from Cure could take advantage of this setup here on Nightshade. So you pointed out, yeah, frequently it's right there. Even if you got decent creep spread on it, it's something that they can just kind of stick, and you really have a tough time pushing back. Whether you have Mutas trying to slay the tanks, or Ravagers try and almost, what's the word, like jump on top of it. Because when you have Roach Ravager Bane, or let's say Ling Bane Ling Ravager, I guess, you can jump on attacks, I think, a little bit in a scarier way, because you just pull back the Banelings if it's not going to work out, but you still get Corrosive Biles down on those emergency sieging tanks. So... and it could be something for this map, this particular style he's playing. Doesn't want to do mutas just every single game. But yeah, he's getting the upgrades, he's getting the Banelings, but he's still adding on some Roaches, some Ravagers.
4 drones going down, like the Banshees though, right? Like, just still alive, still kind of coming in. This is a really kind of weak spot as well, where they can just come in, take a couple of Queen shots only, and then get out. It's up to 7 workers now. That Banshee gets a little low, but... we'll just hang out for, again, a later moment where maybe the Queens are elsewhere. I mean, if the Queens are back over here, they're not placing down creep tumors, right? So, you're kind of indirectly slowing down some of the creep spread as well, as now Cure pushing onto the map. This definitely feels like the best start that Cure's had so far, right? Definitely some damage done. We're actually seeing drones dying early. And, now he's on the map to start trying to deny some creep. Yes, that may not go very well because of the Roach Ravager. But, at the same time, it's also Roach Ravager, which is, arguably not as good of a comp. To kind of compare to just kind of Ling Bane Muta or so. So that's kind of where we're at as we see the Hive starting. Not going to slow down at all RagnaroK in terms of teching. And Cure, a couple of tanks out. He'll probably just keep building the tanks. Haven't seen the Ravagers.
Quick Hive is a very expensive thing to do, and it's a very quick hive, like 7-minute hive. It's a very expensive thing to do. I would be scared of a tank push to that 4th base, just because, even if he gets Vipers, they'd have to come out. They'd have to soak up energy. It might take a little while, but that would be something that could also help, is Viper Abducts or just Blinding Clouds, either one. But he's not going to have a maxed out army, because that's what I thought he might do, is just like try and max out, stomp this push, and then counter immediately. But no, it's actually the exact opposite, going for more of a macro game. And is that actually the right call? He's going to try and pounce on this, but yeah, the army size just isn't big enough to really do it.
Yeah, it's really not. That kind of tech up to Hive hasn't really helped him out yet. And yeah, it might help if he gets a Viper right now and can do something about the siege tanks, but that's, a minute or so from now maybe. Not right now, and Cure's already here, so those tanks can maybe press a bit further forwards. You don't want to go too far forwards, because they are probably still going to be afraid of the Ravager bars. You don't want to kind of push too far in if those Ravagers are just going to corrosive bar the siege tanks down too quickly. That's, just asking for trouble. So, gotta be a little bit careful of that, as we do see the army of RagnaroK here spreading up a little bit between bases, just getting that concave set up, just stopping Cure from pushing further in. The thing is, Cure is just going to take this position. He's just going to push it further and further, right? And he's essentially just looking to hold this position now, so he's already prepared to start fighting when he gets 2-2 done.
RagnaroK did prioritize 2-2. Like, as his high finish, he kind of started that, and then, that took away all the gas from the Viper. But it seems like he doesn't need the Vipers, just goes for a big swell of units. He's going to grab the tanks, but the Banelings off of creep, unsuccessful, hitting those pack of Marines to the backside. And I think that was all of his Banelings. The Roaches and Ravagers are easy to size up afterwards for the Terran, but Cure Perhaps not with a scan available. Perhaps just really respecting RagnaroK after the first 2 games. Going to continue kind of slowly pushing, giving RagnaroK that crucial time to rebuild arguably the most important part of his army.
Couple of corrosive bars drop and miss the medevac. Yeah, the Bane's coming in here. I mean, this is kind of nice though, right? Because you get back to a siege tank and it's immediately just scary once again. Second tank needs to make sure it splits up before sieges. You do not want to siege it right on top just so you don't get biled down at the same time as one tank is biled. It feels like RagnaroK's kind of holding this off. He's going to get himself the Viper energy up. So he's going to be able to, again, use those blinding clouds. Help him take this engagement. Reinforcements from Cure continue to move across. He's got a second factory pumping tanks right now as well. And a 4th base coming up in location. So again, just trying to make something happen around this 2-2 timing. But absolutely not just fully reliant on this. He's even going to start up drilling claws ready for kind of a more Lingbane army kind of from in the future of this. So starting up drilling claws now, just preparing for the future kind of eventuality of probably moving away from roaches. The blinding clouds drop perfectly on the 2 siege tanks.
Corrosive Bile should be taking them out, but not actually. So the tanks, despite being blinding cloud, to get a couple of shots in. A little late to that. But he will have enough reinforcements with Lings and Banelings coming out to the right side to push this back entirely, keeping a lot of his Ravagers alive. I think the entire time, all of his Ravagers lived. And they are quite expensive, so he can replace that instead with more and more Banelings, also adding on that technology from the Hive, not just Vipers, which he did save, right? But also the Ultralisk Cavern and continued upgrades. And you're right, Kira's already transitioned into the thought process of the late game, where we saw Widow Mines doing really well, even against those Ultras, because they take away the fodder. And, well, they also do ignore armor, but that doesn't necessarily make them good against Ultras. No, it's about taking away that Ling Baneling force. So we know Kira can tackle a late game like this, and I still think it's the best game Kira's had, for sure. But RagnaroK, very importantly, not just losing his 4th base there, taking on the army, pushing it back. Getting his Creep Queen killed, though, with an already kind of a meh creep spread, is worth noting, as this will not be like the last games, when it's just encroaching and enveloping the map.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit more controlled, right? It definitely gives Q some chances still to move armies around and get into, decent locations to take fights. Rather than just RagnaroK being like, haha, I get a jump on you here, I get a jump on you there. But at the same time, RagnaroK's bases are very safe, so it's not like, Q's just going to rock up and siege up a base right away. So, see what he can do to start moving one way then the other, coming down the right, also stabbing down the left-hand side. So it's going to be coming in, denying one active creep teamer there, and we'll scan for a little bit more. The Ling's already shown up, though. The Viper's going to drop a parasitic bomb on the medevacs. The force to split away, and it's a really quick split away. Good split away by Q. That's the Ling Bane going to try and chase up here. A couple Widow Mines. Not all of them burrowed. Just not burrowing them at all. Okay, run the very end, but not really doing very much at all. And just feels like Q, every time he tries to fight and do something, he just kind of gets pushed away without really much trouble at all.
Yeah, and RagnaroK has his own little attack set up potentially for the right side, or to tackle the push to the right side that Kira has set up, either one. His kind of split is going to finish, so Ultra Speed probably on the way after that, exactly. Inspire and melee upgrade. So RagnaroK really completing his late game comp, where Kira is just sticking on the Bio Widow Mine with a couple of drops, a couple pushes here and there. Still able to pick up as long as there aren't any Corruptors. Parasitic Bomb, not super reliable for dealing with it either, as we saw on the bottom left, which is still continuing. Kira's not going to let the pressure. He's not going to let RagnaroK get a bunch of creep spread, even if it's only to the left and right side. Not to the middle, that's still good creep spread. And he's definitely not letting him get any bases.
Nice little parasitic bomb dropping down one of the medevacs here. That will peel away, trying to use these Widow Mines effectively. And the Widow Mines do connect quite nicely, so yeah, leaving the Marauders in the front too, so tanking a lot of the Bane shots efficiently on this top side, but he is pushed away from his 5th base. Ikea still needs to find a few more units to come in and defend this. He's actually very close to actually losing the command center there, although he does have 2 more building. He would like to make those 2 more in towards, orbital command, so you can actually continue to macro up a little bit more easily rather than having to use one of them for Planetary Fortress. We do see, honestly, this little choke point here is working well for Kua. Look at the Infestation Pit. I mean, maybe later on if you want to add some Infestors in, that will be a problem. But for now, it's not really the biggest issue either. So, not the biggest of snipes, as we do see RagnaroK holding all 5 of his bases fairly comfortably.
Yeah, cute little choke there. I really feel like RagnaroK needs to get his creep spread up. We did see RagnaroK and a lot of the Zergs just not even bother with Infestors, no matter how good it seemed. So I really don't think that was a big loss. But you're right, it could come into the future. But I'm just worried about the creep trade right now. He's also not really replacing queens to even get back on top of it.
Yeah, I was just thinking maybe if you get like super rich or something, right? You're like, oh, maybe I get an infestor or two for the extra fungal. They might add something in, but you're right. It's really not something you see a lot of if it's bio players anymore. And as this army pushes through, it's a little bit better, I feel, for here. A couple of Widow Mines really kind of went off quite nicely, and RagnaroK does find himself pushed away back down the right-hand side.
And I think the idea is that you really don't need to go for infestors. Like, not only can they not fungal burrowed anymore, but you also, that's investment you're making where getting a Ling wrap is just as good with units you already have that are super cheap.
No, it's
so,
definitely true. And it's just like extra little bit
ideal.
of something to control as well, right? To like really make it effective. It's like, why add that in if you're already also, having Vipers and stuff to kind of use? This is a much better fight for RagnaroK again, though. Suddenly he just swarms into this. The Widow Mines do absolutely nothing, and he doesn't even really have the medevacs to evacuate. He gets away just off of creepers. The Ultras will stop chasing, maybe afraid of more Widow Mines kind of layering the route that Kira is escaping through.
Looks like Kira's insistence. Oh, no, it was an Ultra. Darn. I thought persistence was going to pay off, but nope.
Well, actually, right now, RagnaroK's getting more aggressive than he has been. He's so close to connecting on some of this bio army just to clean it up. He's going to keep going in. He already has a Blinding Cloud available, so the first siege tank here does nothing at all. And, well, just going to run out of Banelings more than anything else. There's a couple of units around. He does deny the top side 5th base, though, so takes that down. Going to try and cancel a command center here as well. Wants to save a few of these Ravagers. Will Corrosive Bile that CC to make sure it does get cancelled. And, yeah, RagnaroK's just going to pull everything back down a little bit, and Kira's going to retake that 5th base with an orbital command, which we know that doesn't end well. Right now, it's just a few Zerglings that are needing to go to that top side, and you'll be able to pick off so many of those SCVs.
I guess you don't really need a lot of creep spread if you're just winning all the fights aggressively anyways. Kira not able to get any other damage out on the map yet, because he needs everything back home, and the one drop he does have is being denied by a single Ultra, so it is all about the main fight. You're losing that fight. That's a field's bad moment. Yeah, the orbital is going to be a very weak point. He's getting attacked in the middle where his army is not once again, so going to go super well. Blinding Cloud pushes the bio into the Banelings. That hurts.
Really does hurt as RagnaroK just comes into this here. Does he have enough to clean up? He's getting a couple of Widow Mines for free. He's got a Parasitic Bomb that's about to kill a bunch of medevacs. Oh my god, 2 of them just surviving. But all those medevacs are so low. Even if you added in like 2 or 3 Corruptors, they'd go on a field day right now. And you might want to do that with the Liberators coming into play here as well. Thing is, again, I mean, Kira has more army supply. Just where is it at the moment? It's in the production tab, which means that, yeah, RagnaroK's just going to run away. But guess what? You can run away via this orbital. It doesn't take a lot to shut down these SCVs because it's not a planetary. Yeah, it can lift up and survive, but, well, kind of surprised we don't see some Lings kind of sticking around to try and fight the orbital. That's a great Widow Mine shot. Second one, a bit of friendly fire, but the first one really picking off the Ling count to maybe keep Kira alive there.
Well, he's alive, and you're right about the army count. It's looking surprisingly good. It's not even medevacs this time. That's an okay number of medevacs. It's just got to collect itself, get across the map. He also needs to get another base up, which is currently just being easily denied by Overlord creep spread to the left side. RagnaroK has aggressively expanded, which might end up biting him in the butt. Kira is trying to add on better units here with Liberators, and that's going to give him that siege position, which without Corruptor is going to be difficult to break. Abducts can break it temporarily, but the more Liberators added, the less likely Abduct will do it. Good Parasitic Bomb already very, very weak medevacs. They all explode across the Biles as well, and that is going to, yeah, almost kill 2. Definitely killed that 1.
We see Kira kind of forcing RagnaroK back at least a little bit. Couple of extra Ultras going down as they try and run forwards here. Circles getting picked off. I mean, that's the Ultras that are down. There's no Ultras left on the map, and RagnaroK, for the game he's got going for himself, he's about to lose this base, which means that he's probably going to struggle a little bit on mining for a little bit here. It's another Parasitic Bomb that does a bit of damage on these medevacs. I mean, they are still clumped up, so it's doing a lot of damage on the medevacs. And actually gets a kill. I mean, you're trying to push into this right now as RagnaroK with really very little. Oh, the triple kill on the Liberator as RagnaroK Corrosive Biles those down. They were all clumped up.
RagnaroK's aggression is going to bite him in the butt, though. Like, expanding aggressively was not just the, almost confidence issue. It also was just he didn't feel comfortable taking any other base because of the drops with lack of creep spread. And I think that, that could kill him. He's finally going to take maybe another good fight, finally, as Kira goes on to creep against a bunch of Ling reinforcements. But, damn, that was really getting way too close for comfort. But Kira seems to have been lacking those Widow Mines, so all the Lings come forward, take care of the bio, and now they're on top of the CC. So it is
Yeah.
still going in RagnaroK's favor, but almost unnecessarily like making it close with that aggressive hatchery.
Yeah, if he just expands bottom side, I guess in a way maybe he's afraid because it's been dropped a few times, but it's so easy for Kure to push back, and it's not like RagnaroK's been taking fights where, you know, Kure has to sit back and then defend. You know, RagnaroK's been taking fights where at the end of it, Kure is the one that's pushing him away, and, you know, hence the hatchery goes down. So, bit of a shame there. We'll try and take the top right hatch instead. I mean, it kind of makes sense if your army's near here, and you want to kind of be around. That base is a bit further back, a bit more, you know, a bit more difficult to push into, but your army's still kind of there in the top right. I don't see, I mean, there's a hatch block, you know, Rhodamine blocking the hatch in the bottom side. So it's kind of tough. He's going to try and take far bottom left, so just needs an extra base, and he realizes that. So that's his next challenge.
It certainly has a lot to do with just how action-packed this game is, how much RagnaroK wants to keep up the pressure, doesn't want to let Kure take a breather and get the map control. But there is that other option that could have been done 4 minutes ago where he did just go, okay, I need more creep spread, I need to defend, I need to expand. Would have changed the game up a lot, but also would have maybe had him, you know, with 2 extra hatcheries finally, as opposed to just 1 extra building right now, not even mining.
Creep tumors going down, as you do see Kure coming forwards, and the Ling Bane going to press forwards with this as well. A couple extra Widow Mines being picked off. All of these Banes coming through here. I mean, a couple of Ultras on the top side keeping this very busy as well. There's not really anything sturdy to kind of keep these Ultras kind of away, right? As you can see the Medivacs being parasitic bombed as well, some of those dropping down. Every time one of these fights happens, you kind of see the army supply of RagnaroK dipping lower than the Terran player, but he is able to still be the one who's ended up pushing this back. He's killing a couple of SCVs. Guess what? Orbital on the 5th base, still a problem for Kure.
Yeah, if Kure had just a bit more mining, you know, only 32 workers and not that many bases with minerals left over, maybe this is different. Maybe he's producing from the starport more reliably as well, because he really can't right now. And it's the teeter-totter is actually going in favor of him, but that low economy is really starting to hurt. It's really making this game in RagnaroK's favor, as he takes, you know, okay fights, but fights that Kure can't replace, where he can barely still can. Now that his bottom left base is up, these drones have been long since mining forever.
Yep.
They finally die.
Widow Mines going off, picking off a few more Zerglings here. Ultra's taking a bit more damage as well. But the Banes are pushing back the rest of these Marines. And it feels as though Kure is actually, for once, not really going to have enough to eventually push this back, right? I mean, there's another wave of Banelings already set to go. I mean, RagnaroK coming up to the top, just going to leave a couple of Lings off on the mules that are dropping on that base. Comes in, cleans up these couple of Widow Mines as well. That's nice. Just stop those from firing again. Should actually get that other one, and you will. But yeah, where do you mine from next is Kure? Your 3rd base is mined out. Your 4th base has 2 mineral patches left and about, you know, 100 minerals left overall. There's nowhere really that Kure can go to mine. He's got a long distance, the 9 o'clock position, the 8 o'clock. I mean, now Ling's just going to run up towards the natural expansion. The depots are raised, so won't do much there. But these SCVs on the left side are not very well protected. There's a few Marauders coming in. Let's see what they can do.
In the same way, RagnaroK couldn't even peel off anything to take care of that Widow Mine. Kure couldn't peel off anything to take care of that Overlord. It's been a very aggressive game around the center, and it has gone in favor of RagnaroK, that's for sure at this point. And Kure, I mean, despite a better game, I would say this one was like, I even didn't like how RagnaroK set up that defense initially. I put that in Kure's favor. It still ends up going with RagnaroK's victory, and that's going to be a hard 3-0 to come back from.
Yeah, it's the problem with best of 7 if you do start losing when it gets to your last chance. It's really hard to come back, right? It's going to be real tough, as we do see the hatchery top right from RagnaroK setting up. He's mining the bottom left, which is really kind of one of the big things for RagnaroK as well, because he was running out of mining too, right? Like, he only really has like half a hatchery on the right side and then the bottom left base, so he really needed that also. As Kure SCV is going down once more, can't land the 8 o'clock because of a Zergling blocking. Forward base is an orbital, doesn't even get a chance to drop mules, and now the army of Kure probably has to lift up and get out of here.
Kure kind of little fancy TG timing. It has been so close for so long.
Yeah.
You can't blame him, and he doesn't. Yeah, okay.
Frustrating as well, right? Because you're like, you know,
Yes.
you're down 0-2, you're now down 0-3, and RagnaroK just seems to have his number. You know,
Change things.
I think you have to, right? Like, what else can you really do here? You can't play Bio on World of Sleepers. Not if your bio play, like if your bio player is working on the other maps, sure, why not? Or maybe if you get like a lot of early game damage done, but you can't possibly play bio after the way games 1, 2, and 3 went, right?
You'd think so, but TY tried. And failed.
True, TY did try. TY showed us exactly why we don't play mech. Hopefully Q learned from it. Oh, sorry, how I don't play bio. Bottom left-hand side, our blue Terran player, it is Q.
In the top right, as the red Zerg, he is RagnaroK. Such good play.
Yeah.
Really gotta respect RagnaroK. I mean, Kira has been an online beast, and this is an online tournament, and RagnaroK is still playing better than him. RagnaroK's the true online beast, guys. Respect.
It's just Q took down in this tournament as well, right? Like, he came from the round of 12, and he goes through Sue, Raynor, and Showtime. And now RagnaroK's just like throw up and just like, yeah, sorry, was you again? Like, RagnaroK's running the entire tournament. Like, there's not really look trouble at all. 3-0 innovation, 3-1 Q, 3-1 Euthermal, 3-2 Solar. Definitely got close in that ZVZ, but that's the closest it's been. So his non-mirror matchups looking just, I mean, his ZVT just looking absolutely stellar.
Absolutely. It's actually looking, it's definitely not perfect. I'm not going to be super overzealous here, but it's undeniably good. He's beaten everyone so far, right? And it's like, now we just need him on a big stage against some of the like more renowned names, I suppose, the names that hold weight, like innovation on the main stage type thing. Yeah. And that's when everyone's going to be like, oh, okay, yeah, RagnaroK's definitely got some of the best CVT right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely true. As we do see the SCV coming up, checking the natural expansion, backing away. Couple queens on the way out as we set up early. And we kind of look out to Q's base to watch what he's going to try and do to bring this game and this series back, really. It's an uphill battle. Don't know what you do here, really. It's really tough. Like, I want to try and make a prediction, because Q's probably feeling pretty down about this finals right now as well.
Yeah. I mean, he still gets a good chunk of change for even making it here this far, right? Like, this tournament's been awesome. It's been a really long tournament. It's got some amazing games. I assume you're giving out replay packs?
To subscribers, yeah. Yeah,
to subscribers. Sorry, yeah, to subscribers. So you get all these replays, guys, and it's a nice prize pool as well. So, I mean, Kira still for what is his usual day job. It's not laddering, it's tournament playing, sure, but still a good chunk of change and lots of experience. Both of these guys are going to Katowice, by the way. Both on that bracket. So Solar actually qualified, right? But RagnaroK and Kira didn't.
Kira did. Kira went on the EU server.
Oh, that's right. Yes. And I was so amazed because it was EU. That's right. Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay, so yeah, well, definitely both of them going then, right?
I like this from RagnaroK. It's a really good Zerg map, and he's just going to go aggressive, right? Like, this is a bit of an earlier Rotron than last time. I think this time maybe he actually just commits to it rather than, like, backing away and just building, like, a few roaches.
Didn't see, like, if he kept in gas or not. I wasn't paying attention this time, but... Yeah, there's that. It's a kind of a tricky thing, right? Like, you're like, oh, I showed roaches, and then it's going into roach Ravager. Don't even worry about it. And so this game, we don't have banshees either, so it'd be a pretty good opportunity. It's in fact a fast third CC. So RagnaroK, nothing's telling him that this is the case. He is just planning on doing this to try and end the game.
Yeah. And
hoping that Kira is doing something that is unideal. At the very least, it doesn't scout it, and it's not being scouted, and he's doing something unideal. Like super, oh my god, so unideal.
He's got only 2 Hellions Q.
Oh, on the defensive. Oh, GG. He probably, like, I mean, Kira's probably like, I need to get like super heavy on the economy so I can make up for that, the map basically, get a great mid game. And RagnaroK might have actually guessed that. If so, 1000 IQ from RagnaroK.
That's what I mean. It's like
just super lucky.
It's like it's like a good thing to do, right, though, because it's like, it's a weird map to try and play to try and play a macro game on for Terran. So you expect the Zerg to just accept the macro game. So then you're just like, yeah, you take advantage of that. And the thing is, you're 3-0 up as well. You can afford the gamble. You scan the third base. You see no drones. And Q starts some bunkers, but there's not even a wall in front of the bunkers. So the Lings are going to get full surrounds. And I think we might be seeing the end of WardiTV 2020 right here, because RagnaroK is going to run in. The SCVs are going to get pulled, but the Ravagers here, the Lings are here, and Cure has absolutely nothing. He types out to give RagnaroK a 4-0 in the Grand Finals. GG's.
I almost